Oh, and then there's this story. Child caught in custody gender battle chooses maleness. That's my headline. 7-year-old, oh no. Oh, okay, here's the title. 7-year-old whose mother tried to force a gender transition chooses to attend school as a boy. The Blaze. See mine. See how mine is. You see how mine is. See how my headline is. I tried to actually did this on purpose to write like something that was somewhat non-abrasive in a way, but got the point across without being too sugarcoaty, socially authoritarianly. And their title this is meant to make you mad. It's meant to tick you off, and this does this now. Well, hold on. 7-year-old whose mother tried to force a gender transition. They want you to be angry. She tried to force a gender transition. She actually did. I mean, it's not that they're not saying something that's not true, but they're putting this headline out here. And this is meant to hurt you, man. This is meant to make you feel anger and hate. And shut up, lefties, because you do it too. I have stories here from your sites too that do this crap. And so I think this is a real problem that adults should talk about in an adult way with one another, without adding the unnecessary stigma that you're adding against transgenderism in general. This is like whiteness. I hate that word. I hate that. Whiteness shouldn't be whiteness. You talk about white eliteness. That's what you're really talking about, and that exists. It still does, but it's not really amongst most whites anymore. It's really fading, and yeah. But it was legit a thing, and I remember when it was seriously legit a thing, and I had to. It was weird coming to realize that you were in something like that as you emerged out of it. It was a weird process. I went through that process in my 30s. A lot of people, they're like people in their 50s. I'm in my 50s, and they have this idea that somehow that people in their 50s are like trapped in the 70s and 80s. It's like we were paying attention in the 90s and the aughts and the teens. We went through all that crap. I don't know. It's like people imagine that like you stop interacting and taking in the newness of the world when you get to a certain age. You idiots. We went through all that. We know it better than you. Way better. So, I mean, in aggregate, there's plenty of young people that know it better than me. I'm just saying in aggregate. So, James Younger, the 7-year-old this is from The Blaze, the 7-year-old at the heart of the Texas transgender custody battle that incited a national debate that you helped incite. You turned this story into a wedge issue, this is a divorce letter too, by the way, Glenn. This is a divorce letter. You're telling all these people, we don't even care about you. We're done with you. We want a divorce. This is a war letter, man. This is war. A Facebook post from the Save James account run by friends and family reads, "Going to school. This is what it looks like when James gets to choose." Oh, come on. You're using your boy. I mean, I'm not going to blame the father too much. I mean, I'm not going to blame him. I can see how he could easily get swept in this. And I don't know how much he uses, if this is just an isolated. Now, if this is something that he habitually does, then that might be a problem. But I'm not going to get too much on this. But I would say in general, I'd want less focus and less pictures, less noise around my son, not more. That would be me. I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to judge you too harshly, Jeffrey Younger, because I definitely, I'm a father, and I know that I don't always make the best decisions in life either. I will say this though, Jeffrey, if you ever happen to hear this video by some weird winky dink, I don't blame you at all for standing up for your son and preventing something like that from happening. Like that's insane. That should not be allowed. You should not be allowed to give children this transgender, this chemical stuff. There's way too many things we don't know to go ahead and rush. I mean, that alone, there's so many things we don't. What are the long-term effects when you start to give children drugs that alter their very endocrinology? Like, what kind of long-lasting health effects do you even know? Does anyone even want to ask these questions? Now, see, we need to talk about this like adults in ways in which we're not using it as a basically what Glenn Beck is doing here. As I refer to this as a vehicle of power. That's all this is. This is not something personal, transgenders. I want you to understand. This isn't personal. You are simply a convenient vehicle of power. And the ultimate power that they're aimed at is the same power that's also using you. They're using you as a dagger that they're throwing at the left. I'll say that in quotes. Their perception of what they call the left. What the Glenn Beck crowd calls the left. What you call the right. Which is your terms, which are idiotic, because they don't describe any of you. You're all right-wingers. You're all like real far right-wing authoritarians. Like, really. You're all authoritarians. You all have little czars marching in your head giving you orders. All of you. And what Glenn Beck is doing here is taking somebody who okay, if you look transgendered, and most I don't there are plenty of I almost said most, I have no idea. I don't want to speak in areas that I don't know nothing, but transgenders, there have been plenty of transgenders who you can tell they're transgender. You can tell they look between states. They're like half male, half female. You know, whether it's a female who's transitioned to a male or male transitioned to a female, and they're easy to distinguish. So they're like easily, like they don't fit into any of our classifications, and so they're easy to mark out. It's easy to create a target around a visual that is distinguishable, like noticeably distinguishable from the rest of the group. And you perceive that their appearance, especially if you perceive that their appearance is because of a choice that you deem to be some form of deviancy, abnormality, mental illness. So that's an easy group for you to trigger feelings of unsafety and mistrust in others with. And so that's how they're used. It's an easy, rather than having an adult conversation, Glenn Beck is just going to participate in the crayon wars. That's what these are. This is written in crayon. This is so moronic and idiotic. Just idiotic. And it's not funny. I mean, if you're going to be idiotic, at least be funny. I mean, come on, buddy. You're not even funny. That's the thing. Wow. Well, this might end up being a long show, but hey, you know what? That is what it is. You know, I think maybe it's just the pictures or the stories that I happen to pick that got thoughts going in my head. I'm not sure.